I took my first watercolor class when I was in my late 30s. So I've been painting for 20 years. And that first class was at our local community college. It was an introduction to watercolor class, and my teacher was Edry Knight, and she was so sweet. She created such a nurturing environment for my little fledgling beginning attempts at watercolor. But after that first class, I was just really hooked. I loved the medium and continued learning by taking workshops, a lot of them right here at Cheap Joe's, reading a lot of books, studying DVDs, and putting a whole lot of paint on a whole lot of paper. I love Ann Pember's work. Her florals are beautiful. Chen Chi, I love his saturated wet technique. And although I don't use that process much myself, I appreciate his philosophy of art. I always remember those 4 points, those 4 principles that he talks about. That was a big impact. That was a workshop that I took here at Cheap Joe's. Tony Couch's book, Watercolor You Can Do It, with its principles of design, was a big influence. That's where I really first began to get my head around the concept of design principles and elements and composition. That really was, it was sort of like a key that unlocked the door, that you didn't just have to throw a painting together, but there was some logic behind it. Wes Waugh actually is one of the artists, local talent, that I really respect. I love his expressive use of color in his landscapes. Actually took a workshop with him here at Cheap Joe's too. It's like breathing now. It's a way of interpreting the world. It's a way of communicating. It's a way of communicating. It's as real a method of communication as speaking, as writing. So it's a way of communicating. Well, I first started teaching workshops a couple of years ago, and I just remember in the first workshops that I took how valuable the design information was to me, and what a difference that made in my understanding of doing a painting. So I really try to incorporate those same thoughts and pass that on, because if it's valuable to me, I'm thinking maybe that's going to be valuable to somebody else. And I love the teaching process. I love the synergy that comes together in a workshop, because everybody's bringing their creativity, their energy, their thoughts, and it all comes together to be a more powerful whole than all the individual parts. We all learn from each other. The challenge for me in teaching, though, has been the rest of my schedule in trying to balance doing workshops with art shows. I do art shows beginning in April through November of the year. My husband and I do outdoor shows. So that's been a learning curve, figuring out how to balance the time to be able to do both of those well. I love the watercolor medium. That's pretty much what I exclusively work in. I've always loved it. The effects that you can get with watercolor are unlike effects you can get in any other medium. I love the transparency. I love the luminosity. I love the fact that you can control it or you cannot. It has a mind of its own. In fact, I think that might be what I love best about it, is it challenges me to let go of my preconceived notions of control. The inspiration behind my paintings, it's the artistry of God and His creation, and how that just comes out in so many different ways, in the shapes, in the textures, in the colors, the light. I'm always attracted to the light. That's the big inspiration, regardless of what the subject is. And as far as subject matter goes, particularly enjoy doing florals. I especially like macro florals, where you can incorporate the ideas of the abstraction but still retain the feeling of the flower. I love painting animals, especially sheep. I have a friend who has a couple of sheep, and she lets me come over to her house on a regular basis and photograph. It's Gracie and Flora are their names, and they've been in a whole lot of my paintings. Probably some of the sheep paintings are some of my favorite. Another favorite painting, maybe because it was my first macro floral, is Selah, the Rose of Sharon. I do have a website. It's susancrouch.com, and it is a site that I sell my paintings and my giclées from. I also have a line of prints called Tender Mercies that incorporates an image with a scripture, and those are also available on the website. And in addition to that, a set of note cards, a line of note cards. And a lot of where we do sell our artwork, I say we, I'm talking about me and my husband, because we do these shows together, are at outdoor shows like Art in the Park in Blowing Rock, North Carolina. So a lot of what we sell happens at our outdoor shows in addition to the website. What do I think about Cheap Joe's? Well, it's the best place to buy art supplies, and on top of that, he's a wonderful man, and I love coming to workshops here. I've come to so many, and I will continue to come to workshops here, but it's just, I feel I live in Statesville, which is not too far, and I feel really fortunate that I'm not far away, so I can come up here whenever I need to. But Cheap Joe, the man, and Cheap Joe's, the art supply store, is a wonderful, wonderful thing.